Hello, this is Duncan Fitter of Oracle Analytics Product Management Group. I'm your host for the day, and welcome to the Building a Foundation for Digital Transformation in the Construction Industry with Analytics. I'm pleased to welcome Michael Curtis, Group Finance from Probuild in Australia. We will be taking Q&A today at the end. So please do enter your questions via the Zoom's Q&A functionality, which you will find on your screen. Over to you, Michael.
Thanks, Duncan. So welcome, everybody. So today we'll be talking about Probuild's journey with the Oracle Cloud. And I guess to start, for those that don't know who Probuild are, Probuild, we're a large construction company in Australia. We turn over approximately $1.6 to $1.8 billion annually. We have a $6 billion workbook, approximately 40 to 50 projects across Australia, over 1,000 staff, are owned by a South African listed company, WBHO, and have been around for over 30 years. So that's a bit about Probuild. But really what we're here to talk about today is the evolution we've had, and we refer to it as PAR in our business, Probuild Analytics and Reporting, which is really the Oracle Analytics Cloud. So for us, it really all started 3 years ago, like most businesses, in terms of how do we digitize our finance function. So in the construction industry, a lot of our finance functions are quite manual. So the key that we were looking for was how do we move from manual to automated? How do we give more business insight from data to make decisions? And how do we rationalize costs? So that's really some of the things we're thinking about when how do we digitize our finance function. We went through a process of identifying the appropriate solution, and Oracle was the best by far in terms of our selection. So from there, we were able to implement really our Probuild Analytics reporting system. What has that done for us? Well, as you can see, it's been pretty revolutionary. We've been able to reduce 25% in costs through overheads, as well as a number of business initiatives we're able to do through analytics, and I'll get to those, I'll touch on those shortly. We've been able to change our reporting from manual to automated, so 75% of our reporting is now automated. So it's amazing what that's done for our business. We've gone from a financial close, when we're talking finance, of taking 18 working days to close just a month end, so that you've got 30 days in a month. It was taking us nearly 3 weeks to close our books, and now we're able to, with the analytics platform, close it in 5 days. So it's a significant change for our business, which is it allows us to get information out quicker to the business for them then to make decisions. We've also been able to become a 75% self-service model with analytics with our PAR system, which has really benefited the business and given them some more real-time reporting. And obviously the last one and the most critical one is really the business insight. So I'll touch on some examples shortly, but that's probably been by far one of the best impacts of the PAR system we've got in place. So this is our 3-year journey, and I think it depends on obviously the type of business and how quickly you want to grow. So every journey is different. It can be faster or slower, and I'll sort of touch to different segments of this journey. But I guess the key message is every journey is different, and this is just the Probuild journey. So really, in the first 12 months, what we were looking at is really the design, the development, and the implementation phase. So that took some time, and obviously that was the key start of our business. But once we got that up and running and got the right teams in place and the right sort of back of house set up with our system, we've been able to then deliver a lot more for the business. So I guess then I look at the second phase, which really went from 2018 to 2019, and we're able to give a lot more business insight. And then the third phase, which we've currently been working on, is really not only just being in finance, but really starting to embed this in the business and grow it. So now we've got elements such as commercial reports that are run on our project sites. We've got a HR global tool, an Australian tool for us, where they can forecast every single person in the business across every single project. And then we've also helped with new business functions. So how I describe it is we've been able to move from primary school, graduate, and now we're in high school, and we're trying to really continue the growth of looking at the next things. And we'll talk to that when we get to our horizon page. What is PAR for us? So Probuild Analytics and Reporting. This is what it looks like. This is what the user sees. It's very simple. This is the landing page for us. That's what we call the landing page. And from here, you can click into any of the reporting. So the first two tabs there are really finance reports. The next couple of tabs really around operational and commercial elements of the business. And then there's some key reports here around what project people see. And what I alluded to before, the top right-hand corner, the prelims group matrix, is the HR tool. So again, it's all in one spot for people to go to, which makes it a lot easier for the end user. Here are some live examples. It is a very busy slide, so we'll take some time in terms of looking at each one. But example one, really that first 12 months, and the insight we were able to get is we were able to develop a reporting tool that really showed overtime reporting. So in construction, the standard hours is a 56-hour week because you work Saturdays. And the problem in the business, the problem that the operations people were saying were that basically their safety stats were increasing. So they were finding more injuries on site. And the problem was our injuries were increasing. So they sort of said, okay, what's the root cause? What's causing this? We sort of knew it was to do with overtime, but we were able to get insight into every single project, what hours they were doing. And effectively through this reporting, the bottom line is we've been able to halve our safety stats, half the injury time on site. So it's pretty powerful. The first sort of test case in that first 12 months, we've been able to deliver to the business to say we've halved your safety stats. So that's a real good benefit. Then we move into the second item there, which is subcontractor analysis. And what the business never had, again, listening to business problems and the like, is the business never had a procurement model where you could see every single subcontractor and what project they're working on, how much we've spent and the like. What this tool did through, again, the Oracle Cloud is we've been able to show any person can log into this system and see at any point in time, real time, what subcontractors we're using across 50 projects. So this data set's something as big as probably 50, 60,000 lines of information all in one dashboard. So it's really powerful for the business to now they use it when they go out and procure sort of subcontracts and really use it throughout the whole procurement system. The next one's really around our risk matrix. So this is actually used all the way from project level to state level to group level, all the way to the shareholder, obviously our WBHO listed company. So again, this report was a manual document. It took days to prepare. People wouldn't see it till the 18th of the month. And through Oracle Analytics, through our past system, we've been able to deliver this on the 5th day of the month. So everyone from project level all the way to our shareholder has line of sight of where's their risk in the business. The fourth report we've been able to sort of deliver here is project cost reporting. So the best thing about this is previously in our commercial land, project teams were producing reports of 140 pages. You weren't getting insight. People couldn't make decisions. So what we've been able to do is develop, again, some dashboard insight reporting very quickly across every single project that people can see this on Workday 5 and make a decision on whether it's a commercial outcome or the like. And again, you can see that from our reporting, you can see that from a project level, a state level, and a group level. The fifth one is probably one that we're most proud of to date. Our HR team was looking at implementing a system to really track where people were resourced. It seems silly, but unfortunately, with our ERP being quite clunky, they couldn't get this information. They were looking at spending over $1 million to implement this system. We threw the challenge out to the team, and we were able to develop something within a month on this cloud system in March. And this is used by, I would say, 80% of our business in operations land in terms of where are people sitting, and it's used by our HR team on a fortnightly basis. So again, getting out into the business is critical for us. And the last one really is around the new business reporting. So again, an important part of the business of what's in the pipeline and what work are we trying to secure. So again, it's all funneling back to that simple landing page that people can click into, all our users, and they're getting the insight they want. This slide is just more highlighting our current IT architecture. So I'll let you take that away and digest it. The key thing that we've been able to develop is this Active Directory. So it links, we've been able to link our own online ProConnect page, so our intranet page. All it is an icon of PAR. You can click on that, and it doesn't matter who your user is, it's linked to our Active Directory, and that will determine the permission. So if you're a project person, you click your login, you go into that dashboard, the summary landing page, and based on your permission, you can access what you'll link to in our Active Directory. So if you're a Victorian state manager, you'll be able to see only Victorian elements. If you're an executive, you'll be able to see the whole of the company. If you're a project person, you can only see your project information. So for us, making it simple is pretty critical. So I think we've sort of touched on the impact of our business. I mean, the key ones for us was really moving our reporting online. And I cannot tell you enough, this has really been revolutionary for our business. We've been able to move our reporting online. We've got historical storage. We've got so much more insight. We've got real-time reporting for business, and we can make better decisions as a business. I've sort of touched to this slide, so I won't go into too much detail, but they're the real-life business impacts which we've spoken about. It's the overtime reporting and halving our safety stats, our safety injuries on site. It's saving $1 million on our resource forecasting and people using that in the business. It's reducing commercial pages and reports across every single project of 140 pages down to 8 slides across 30 projects. So you can only imagine that's thousands and thousands of pieces of paper that people are printing, they now all have on this dashboard. And the last one is this new business forward look tool, which again, all our new business teams are using. So some real great business impact with this tool. Here are some key quotes, and the top one I'm probably most proud of is the success in our business is really from the top. Our Probuild CEO said to me and my team, I never thought I would have something like this in my business. The state managing director of Victoria said it is revolutionary. And this is a guy that doesn't get excited about much. And then our senior project manager has said to us, can someone please send me this every month, this data I need. Now this senior project manager demographic, he is a 55, 60-year-old person that doesn't like technology, but he loves this. He wants more of it. So I think that to me sells the success of this product. So how did we make it successful? Like what are we thinking in terms of how can I do this in my business? These are probably the 3 simple messages that are most powerful for me. And it's quite simple, but marketing it right, name and brand. I've just said to you, PAR. Probuild Analytics and Reporting. That's how it's named in our business. So people, whenever you talk about reporting, whether it be financial, commercial, we say PAR, people resonate and they go straight to PAR. I think that's been probably 30% of the success of this is really getting that name and marketing internally correct. The second thing is making it simple. A lot of especially in the construction industry, they don't have time to work around 3 different links or how do I find the information? It's all in one spot. That's why it was critical for us to have that single touch sign on and effectively have everything in one spot with that landing page. That has really made this a success. And the third point is really listening to business needs. that's where a lot of this falls down. I think what we did as a project team at the very start was, one thing is you need to interlink finance, commercial, operational, and IT. You need all three to make this a success. You need key sponsors. You need your head stakeholders. You need a key person in the operational world that will like it, because that has helped drive for us. And I think there's some of the things that have really helped us to make it a success. Again, that's our sort of landing page. So again, just keeping it simple. That's all our reporting is. You click into it and you get the right reports that you need. This is what I alluded to before. This is our intranet page, and that's all it is. It's an icon. You click on that icon, you land at this landing page, and then you click into your reports. It's as simple as that. And I think that has helped with the success of our analytics tool. So what are some of the key learnings? So I think we've spoken about the top three that are most resonate with myself, being obviously key business partners, listening to business, and having that simple landing page. Some of the other things that you might want to think about in terms of what we've learned over the journey is that initial design and investment. For us, this nearly all fell apart at the end of the first 12 months. We were getting frustrated in terms of the ability to create the appropriate platform. There was a lot of discussions and a lot of reports breaking down. So one key thing for everyone is you might not succeed the first time. So go back and think, okay, why am I not succeeding? For us, it was we probably didn't have the right resourcing and the right team, which goes into the second point. So we had a bit of a stop and a think. We redesigned the team we had in place, and we tried again in terms of another 3-month approach to try and launch this product. And with a second team, with the right team, we were able to make it a success. So that's probably another point you want to think about in terms of having the right team and the right investment. I think it's critical to have the right partner and the right product. So I think for me, Oracle has been a fantastic product. I'm really impressed with the service you get from the Oracle team and the actual product itself. It has been revolutionary for our business. We've also had a great partner in Neodata and Deloitte, so they do the heavy lifting for us. We've got a smaller IT team, so they sort of help with the background of the actual design and heavy lifting of creating the back office function. I think change management plan and communication is critical, which is what we spoke about before. And probably one other thing is, if you can have it in your ranks, having a data scientist on site would really help with the actual development of your product. I think that's one other learning we've had. So what's on the horizon for us? So obviously we're moving into the high school years, and we're trying to really start to project and graduate into university. Really for us, it's really moving into that predictive and trend analytics. So that's probably critical for us. We're also being a part of the OAK Gen 2 migration, which has been a success. We're almost about to start Gen 2. So thanks Oracle for helping with that. And then some of the other things, we're looking at operational analytics, some new business analytics, and some other areas. So for us, PAR's a great success for our business, but it's only going to keep growing. And that's critical for us. So I guess that's the presentation from us. Is there any questions?
Hi everyone. Thank you, Michael. That was a fascinating session. Really, really interesting. So we of course have time for a few questions. You can enter those questions in via the Q&A functionality. I see that some people have already, so just give Michael a few moments to bring those up, and I'm sure he'll take them. Have you found them, Michael? The Q&A?
Yeah. So I think the first one asks about, we talked about the 3 years to get to where we are and still do more. Do you think you could have accelerated this? I think sort of what we spoke about before, we definitely could have accelerated. Every journey is different. And I think if I had have known what I know now in terms of some of the learnings, having the right team, it definitely would have been implemented a lot quicker. We've actually been able to implement this at a quite a low cost base, so that's why it's taken a bit more time as well. But I think for everyone, it definitely could be implemented faster. It just depends on your journey. The next one talks about our KPIs. So what financial KPIs do you track and are most important to you? Would you see value in comparing yourself against the industry, and how do you try and understand the drivers behind those KPIs? So critical for us, obviously, is how well this tool has been for us and the KPIs behind them. Some of our KPIs we look at are really the time saved in preparing reports, which obviously you've seen through reducing cost savings and time to do other things, more insightful things. Second thing is really, for us, it's how much does the business use our analytics by person. So we've got some reporting around targeted people of who's actually using our system, because that's pretty important for us in terms of, are we reaching the right people in our business? And then the third thing is increased productivity and insight, which is a bit more qualitative than quantitative, but they're probably the 3 things we track. We definitely benchmark ourselves against competitors, and hopefully I think where we see ourselves at the moment is tracking well in the construction industry anyway. And in terms of measurability, we sort of look at it on some of those KPIs on a monthly basis and others on an annual basis. Number 2 is probably more readily available for us, so we like to track that on a fortnightly to monthly basis. The next one talks about, from a finance standpoint, what 2 things do you think that has changed what you do? I think the most critical one is really less time preparing reports and more time providing insight and analysis. So I think that's probably it's 75% now self-service, 75% less time preparing reports. Now we can actually use the information to give that insight to the business to then make a decision. And the second one for me is that self-service model in real time and making it more readily available. I think these days information is power, and the quicker you can get it out and work as a team and everyone have that information, I think it's more palatable. And the last one at this stage, I've got a couple more. What proportion of effort was spent getting the data out of your source system, and what proportion putting together the analytics at the front end? So the source system, that was sort of a part of the design phase. What we did, the key was really working with both Oracle and our key partner in Neodata, Deloitte, in terms of what was the right design and framework that our reports needed to be in to upload into analytics. Unfortunately, you won't believe it, but our ERP system doesn't have an API into analytics. So a lot of our reporting is actually, we've built reports in Excel and taking that information straight from our ERP into analytics. So there is a bit of time in preparing the reports, but again, I think the key is the design phase up front, making sure the design of the reports are correct, and that's going to save you time at the back end. And then, do you have a custom data model for the analytics system PAR? We don't actually. we've worked with our key partner in Deloitte in terms of building what PAR looks like as a system, and that's sort of what we've done with Deloitte. So.
Okay, I think we have come to a natural end of the questions. So I would like to thank everyone who has asked a question, and obviously Michael for the really interesting session today. So if you want to watch the replay, or if you want to watch one of our other sessions which are on demand, or one of the future sessions that are coming up, you'll find them at www.oracle.com/OA Summit. And as no new questions have come in, I think we should close there. Thank you, everybody, and stay safe.